We have to challenge that in no uncertain terms. We have been demeaned, degraded, devalued human beings. So land, labor, people, and then capital. It has place. I'm not against money. I'm not against finance. It's a convenient way of making change, making exchange, making goods and services to come and go. It's a useful tool. It's only an idea. Money is not wealth. Wealth, people are wealth. Communities are wealth. Land is wealth. Clean water is wealth. Your trees are wealth. Your canal is wealth. Your creativity is wealth. Your hands are wealth. True wealth. Money is not wealth. Money is only a measure of wealth. Like you have a measuring tape and you will measure this room is 100 feet long, 50 feet wide. That's a measure. And then you put it back and put it away. Done. The real thing is the building. But what we are doing now, we are, oh, tape, this can measure. We are collecting more tape for getting the building. So money is only a measure of wealth. And we are now obsessed in collecting money. How much money do you have in the bank? How many tape measures do you have in your house? You only need one. You need a little bit of money to buy something and that's it. Keep it moving. So put it in its place. Third place, land, labor, capital. And when you have a land and labor with a spiritual attitude, because spirituality is not in the church. Spirituality is not in a book, the Bible or Quran or Bhagavad Gita or some great, wonderful wisdom of books that we have, wise books. Spirituality is not there. Spirituality is in your heart. It's an inner landscape, the landscape of love which is in your heart. And then a book you open with your own inner awakening, you can find meaning in that. You can go to a mosque or a church or somewhere and you can have a little meditation in a quiet place. That's fine. But the real spirituality is in you. It's not in religion. Religion is different from spirituality. Religion is more a kind of binding together, whereas spirituality is more freeing, liberating, free spirit, as we call it, free spirit. The word spirituality, spirit comes from breathing. When Richard Dawkins interviewed me for Channel 4, he said, I don't believe in spirituality. Why do you believe in spirituality? I said, don't you believe in breathing? Spirit word is connected with breathing. Inspirare, expirare. And I said to him, when you don't breathe, you are expired. You want to be dead. If you are not spiritual, you are dead. You have no breathing. This is why from thousands and thousands of years, the great wise meditators and teachers from the Buddha to Mahavira to many great yoga teachers, they have always taught you to meditate on your breath. That's spirituality. The beginning of your breath, the end of your breath, the cycle of your breath. So that breathing the free air, you cannot measure air. René Descartes, another problem of the West. René Descartes, the Cartesian philosophy was based and is based on the idea that anything which you cannot measure has no meaning. And the whole Western science is based on that. Anything which you cannot measure has no meaning. And also Descartes, who said, I think, therefore I am. That's the most egotistical statement that you can make. I think in my head, therefore I am. We are not in our head. We are in our relationships. My book, which you will see later, you are, therefore I am. That's a relationship based. This is why I say reality is not a thing in itself. Reality is a relationship among things. Everything is made of relationships. This body standing in front of you is a kind of compound amalgam of relationships. Relationship with the sun, with the rain, with the soil, with my mother, with my father, with my friends, with my ancestors, with my teachers, with my time, with space. Everything has made me. I am a living example. You are a living example. This building is a living example of relationship. That's the reality. And that reality is spirituality. That's understanding of spirituality. Spirituality is nothing other than relationship. And why we have economic crisis? Because relationship has been broken down. Why we have social crisis? Relationship has broken down. Political crisis? Relationship broken down. Whenever the relationship broken down, there's no spirituality. So this is the big transition that I would like to introduce to the transition movement. And I'm a good friend with Rob Hopkins in Totnes, because I work in Totnes at Schumacher College, and I have been to Malvern, transition town, and various other transition town. I'm a great supporter of the transition town movement, but I want transition town movement to be more and bigger than just a kind of energy issue. It has to be energy, education, spiritual, cultural transition. And if we can make that transition, and it is happening, we have to be optimistic, we have to be hopeful, and the change in the air. And there are lots and lots of young people, and the idea, I was expecting 20 people here, and you are nearly 200. That is an example, the change is in the air. People are concerned and worried, and awakening is happening. People are waking up, and that is a good sign. So if we all work together, join together, I think we can make a big change. Leadership is not going to come from the Westminster. Do not expect David Cameron or Ed Miliband or anybody else to bring about a transformation in our society. Leadership is going to come from this room. You are all potential leaders. Do not expect somebody else, Mahatma Gandhi or Martin Luther King or Nelson Mandela, to come and save us. You are Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela and the Dalai Lama and Mother Teresa. We are potential leaders. So we all have to take our leadership, and we have to say, first step of good leadership is to lead our own lives in right direction. We have to be the change you want to see in the world. No good preaching other people, change, criticizing government, criticizing business, criticizing multinational corporations, criticizing China, which I did. That's no good. China is not going to listen to me. But if we take leadership and change our own lives, and we don't buy Chinese goods, and we don't cooperate with this materialistic worldview, and then our example will speak louder than any words. Our example will be so strong and powerful that will bring integrity to our movement. So being the change and being the leader ourselves, so we have to take responsibility among our own shoulders and say, we are going to live a life which is joyful, which is fulfilling, which is ecologically sound, and which is spiritually profound. We are going to live that life ourselves and then communicate it. We have to learn the skill of communication. We have to learn how to write a poetry of transition. We have to learn how to paint pictures of transition. We have to learn how to write songs of transition, like in the 60s, Bob Dylan and the Beatles. Imagine, that's the song we want to write. Why Imagine was only in the 60s, and now we are not getting any wonderful songs like that. We have to write those songs. We have to write those poetry. We have to learn the skills of communication so that we can spread the word without expecting somebody else to come from somewhere else, from outside Bath. The leadership has to come from Bath and from your own each town in the country. So if we can take that responsibility and have a spiritual transformation as well as economic and political transformation, then I think we have a new future, a wonderful future. Thank you very much.